Hi everybody, Eileen here. I've got a very quick video for you today. This morning on Facebook I posted some sample cards excuse me, that I'd made using the new release from Visible Image, their new Christmas release. These are available, it's stamps and stencils, and they're available on the Visible Image website to pre-order. This is one of the sample cards that I created, and it got a fair amount of attention and quite a few messages on how did you make it. So I'm doing a quick video now just to show you, but for me as well, because I enjoyed doing it. Right, let's get cracking. I've prepped this already. It's a piece of A4 Paper Mill Direct Super Smooth cardstock. I've folded it, creased it, and then cut it to 13 centimetres by 13 centimetres square, and that's sort of a tad over 5 inches. And then after that, I've got some Sweet Poppy stencils, low tack removable tape, and I've created a frame. I've just put a border all the way round. I've got a frame there, and this will give me a one-layer card, which I really do like making these one-layer cards because they're so quick. Just ensure that this area here in the middle is firmly stuck down to your card, because you don't want any ink leaking under the edges, because the edges then won't be as crisp as you'd like them to be. Taking my stencil, and the name of this stencil is called Iconic. That's ironic. It's called Iconic Christmas. And you've got quite a few images here which are indeed iconic of Christmas. There's snowflake stars, a lovely star, a large star here, word Christmas that I've used in another one of the samples, and this beautiful bauble. And that's what I'm using on this card. So laying the bauble down, and I want the full shape to go on, so making sure the whole image is on, but not I'm not going too far down the card. I want 3 of these baubles on, and I want different heights. So this one is quite a short way from the top. I'm not using my stencil board because it's so quick to do, but I'm just laying a piece of tape there in case I stray outside of the area of the bauble with the gesso that I'm going to use. So I'm laying some gesso down. I'm just going to check that you can see this okay. Onto my glass mat. That's far too much. And you can, that's good. And with a piece of cut and dry, or in this case a makeup sponge, just going to smooth it out, no lumps or bumps, and just to make sure that it's quite thin, because the thinner it goes on, then the faster it will dry. And then I'm just pouncing, holding the stencil tight with my fingers, staying away from this edge, not bothered of course about that edge or the top edge. And then just making sure that I've got the gesso all over the image, and it should be crisp when I remove the stencil and not leaked underneath the bauble. Yeah, that's lovely. So I shall move it over, but I also want to quickly dry it and just ensure that it's dry. Okay, now I've done that because the next image is going down a bit, over and down a bit, so that it alters the height, but it's still going over the previous image, and consequently if it wasn't dry, when you lift the stencil off, it would take half the cardstock with it. So just ensure that your first image is bone dry. And then on goes the next lot of gesso. Hold that down firmly. So I've got a nice round shape. Let me just check. Yeah, you could just about see it because the gesso's got a sort of a creamy tinge to it against the white cardstock. Now the next, now I'm just going to dry that again, same reason, to make sure that the stencil won't stick to it and rip it as it comes up. That's good. And then the next one's going over again, and it's going up a bit more, but not as high as the first one, but a different height to the second one, to the middle one. And a bit more gesso, and then the same process. You won't get the full bauble in this one, so I've just got part of it. Let's have a look. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Right, I don't know if you can see that. You will when the ink goes on, so you'll get a better idea of the design of it. I'm just cleaning up the mess here. And my hands. It's the second time I've made this video. The first one was lovely, but the card was totally upside down. I'd put it on the wrong way. So I just did the, oh golly gosh. I got to do that video all over again. So I have. Anyway, here we are. Right. Move over a little. And now I'm going to put on the inks. That is dry now, so that's fine. Dried marigold and speckled egg. And these are distress inks. You can use oxides if you like, but I'm using distress inks on here. But oxides would be fine, but they'd give you a more opaque look. Starting off with speckled egg and a large makeup brush. It's got gesso all over it. I don't want the ink pad too wet, so I don't want it to be too solid in the colour, but at the same time you do need to see it, of course. So in a circular motion, and a little bit of pressure on the head of the brush, I'm putting the blue all over the cardstock, or over the image. Okay. And then the marigold, dried marigold is next. Change the brush. And I'm not going to put this all over now. I'm just going to go to certain areas, because as it blends with the blue, you'll get a sort of a greenish tinge, which I quite liked, but I don't want that all over the card. I want to allow some areas of the speckled egg to shine through. So sort of 3 corners, and then the other one I'll leave. I think that should do it. You won't get a good idea of the look until I take the tape off, which is what I'm going to do now. Oh, before I do that, no. Before you take the tape off, I want to remove some of the ink from these gessoed areas. And if you stray outside of the bauble, don't worry. It will just add to it, give you a good textured look. So I'm allowing some of the ink from around the baubles to come off as well. So now they will be more pronounced. That one's got still some off, yes, that's good. Now I'm going to take the tape off. And then that will show me whether or not I've got a good crisp edge all the way around. I had a lot of fun making the samples for Visible Image. They're lovely stamps, well worth an investment. Okay, right, so that looks pretty similar to the original card. Always a bonus when you get it right. And a stamping mat is what I'm after now. And I have mine here, yeah. Check that. So, just so that you can see it and move over a bit more prominent for you. And the first image I'm putting on is the snowflake from Simply Snowflakes. You get the large one, which I think is a lovely design, and then two smaller ones, which I haven't used yet, but I will do. But this, yeah, really is a lovely snowflake. VersaFine Nocturne. VersaFine Clair Nocturne. It's a large stamp, so I want to make sure it's well inked. So lots of gentle tapping. Just remove some of the surplus ink that I've got over the acrylic block, and then popping it on, and I want it to come out of the main inked area into the white frame, but I would like it to stay straight. So let's see if I can do that right. So standing up, another lovely day down here in Kent, and it's even better because it's Formula One this weekend. It's the Italian Grand Prix, so I'm going to watch the practice this afternoon. Oh, I watch everything I do. I love it. Okay, so hopefully that image is okay and it's beautiful. And then the final image I'm putting on is from the other set, or one of the other sets, and this is Classic Christmas, because you've got all the words of Christmas: Merry, Happy Christmas, a lovely font. And if you look at my Facebook page, I've used this Christmas stamp on another card. And then, of course, the other words are, and a Happy New Year, so very classic Christmas. I'm just using Merry. And I'm going to lay it down on the card, up the card rather than across. And this is a design feature. It gives me a better balanced look. But obviously, it's your stamp, you stick it where you want. So it's going here. Like so. And then the final thing is just adding a little bit of enamel accents, and this is in, what colour's this? Classic Cherry. They don't do a really deep red. They do pinkies, but not red. So we're going to have to get a petition up, I think. This is Ranger I'm talking about. I love these accents. So I'm going to pop that here. So it's 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a bigger one maybe. There. 5. Move that, and pop this down. There's the card that I've just made, and there's the card that I made this morning. Slightly different colours, because although the colours that I've used are the same, you get a different blend each time with how much ink goes on. I thoroughly enjoyed making that again. Thanks for joining me. Thank you very much for all your lovely comments and your interest. I'll be back tomorrow. Was tomorrow Saturday? Yes. I'll be back tomorrow with Lavinia stamps. I'll be back on Sunday with another Lavinia stamps card if I can. And then next week there'll be some more visible image, and maybe I could do a Sweet Poppy stencil as well. Got so much on at the moment, I can't really commit to lots of stuff. But thank you ever so much for looking. Have a nice Friday. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye for now.